If you haven't figured out by now, I could have done a channel in which every day I did a number symbolism video, and that would be the number of the video. 1716 is no different. An example of the meaning that I'm putting to this is a primal debauchery mixed with success. If we look at the Trumps, we end up with the Tower card and the Star card, which are in a way like the same card because they're both about a transformation to the new. The Tower card's more like a construction site. You break things down, you have a plan, and you build things up again. And the Star card, it's more of the flow of things. And so we'd say in the age of Aquarius, so we've got, your upstandingness combined with your words. In the Zoroastrian formula, as people would call that religion, the Mazda Yes Naha Zarathustra, they got thought, word, and action. Well, words are an action, but, even the Bible kind of distinguishes those things into separate groups for a reason. South, north with south or east in the southwest against up, down of the top of south or east. And, that's another thing to do with the pips, just like that was something to do with the pips. Up, down, east, above, turns to down, up, and southeast. And another thing we could do with the trumps, but having, 4 separate trumps. Above of east below is above of east above. And a vacuum is formed that attractions fill, but it can be innocent in teaching. The means are arranged to bring out achievements by word and craft with an openness to what is productive and according to terms. And since the numbers are smaller than, the video sequence that we're at, we have Sulal Untas. Sorry about that. Which means talking. And this is first found in Matthew 17:3. So we have Surah 17, ayat 16. وَإِذَا أَرَدْنَا Annuleka qaryadan namarna murafiha fafasaqu fiha fahaqqaliyal qawlu fadamarnaha tadmira. And that's a very tower sort of verse, don't you think? It's, there's the intention to destroy, and those of the elite there are doing violations. But the decree comes against them that has been justified by what they do. It's we're not talking against people because they're wealthy or some nonsense like that. It's that, and so 110, is that the last verse or is it the next to last verse? Okay, it's the next to last verse. Hata edha steyasa rusulu wasanu anahum angudebu jahum nasruna fanuria manashau wala yurandu basuna anil qawmil mujrimin. And so this refers to other punishment upon criminals, but this refers to the worry of the messenger. And now we can say we are the messengers of the messengers. So we carry on the meaning and purpose, you could say, and an understanding that is not like, we don't look to oracles like, this number symbolism. It's like, no, it's expressing, it's used to express belief and, but it's not, this number showed up. So, the sage directs the oracle, doesn't consult the oracle, directs it, as A.E. White said. But, that verse represents a divine assistance. Now, we run into some verses in the Bible that have such number value. And I don't really know of a Quranic source that you can look up the number value. You can look up the number value of a verse, but you can't look up the number and then find verses with that. I don't know why. If anybody knows of such a thing, link me in the comments so I can include that in future videos of this type. But before we get to that, let's look at some other things that come up with the number 1716. Divine Will, J.K. Rowling, A South Park Song, Cablevision. A lot of the cable companies combined, but I presume Cablevision is the name of a cable company. Within You. Want to play a game? All women going to please. Not please. Pless March? Is that a place? They are getting a lot crazier. Ambrose Crowley, I Love Myself So Much. Prosperity Outsourced, The Devil Loves, Yellowstone Lake, Sleeping Giants Rise from, though resting places. You know, a lot of what's going to come up in the search engines and stuff is people looked up stuff that wasn't spelt right or grammatically right. So I, Obama, Satan, approve this message. Obama's a figurehead, you know. How is time layered? Titan really gets destroyed. I saw a dead snake today. Genesis 10:28, you know, we're referring to a Armia version of this, renders as and obal. I don't know if that's a ein, hey, a wow, or an aleph, you know, and Abimael and Sheba. And, you know, we're in the generations of Noah talking that, and there's a lot of genealogies and stuff in the Bible and other sacred histories that priests compiled to show the origins of their nation as they perceived it or they wanted people to perceive it. Numbers 22:15 approximates as En Balak sent yet again princes more and more honorable than they. You know, right in the middle of the Balaam story. And don't let yourself be bribed to changing what you do or believe even. And sometimes that's why people don't get some help that they need, because they say, oh, I will believe whichever path is of the people that, you know. So Joshua 19:21 approximates as and Remeth and En Ganim and En Hadah and Beth Pazez. And you know, expound upon these things as you wish, accept or leave the context of any of these verses or things. You know, it's your choice and responsibility to do with these things. But, you know, we're talking about cities and inheritance and where they go forth and all that stuff. 1 Samuel 13:9 approximates as, and Saul said, bring hither a burnt offering to me and peace offerings. And he offered the burnt offering. And so even when you have assistance, you could say, it's important to employ, it's still perfectly valid for you to have them come aid you in your practices. But, you know, when you're offering of material things as part of your spiritual practices, of course, there should probably be some sort of context or reason. And one of the themes that comes up is it's better just to be decent people in the first place than to pile up offerings and all that. But did I say Job 21:12 approximates as they take the timbrel and harp and rejoice the sound of the organ. And so evil people can have a very musical sort of life. You know, we got to turn away from that gospel of prosperity stuff where we think we're justified, or that somebody's justified or excused or something because they're experiencing some good in this life, or that they're condemned because there's something going on that's wrong. Psalm 42:3, we're using the English ordering, of which I believe is the Catholic numbering. My tears have been my meat day and night, while they continually say unto me, where is thy God? You know, that's the Sufis talk about the longing and all that. It doesn't mean that we're like, no, we're aware of God, and that may not be the context there. I'm not going to stop for that. But Psalm 78:2, I will open my mouth in the parable. I will utter dark sayings of old. Well, sometimes the most direct way is not the most meaningful or most purpose-driven, or for some of the reason things may be conveyed in a different fashion. And 81:3, blow up the trumpet in the new moon in the time appointed on our solemn feast day. Now, are you supposed to point the trumpet up to the sky, or does it basically saying just sound the trumpet? And some other words that we have, iskuseta, could you, first found in Matthew 26:40, archmenon, begin, first found in Luke 21:28, deus chorizato, deus chorizata, yeah, pronounced it like, confidently affirmed, first found in Luke 22:59, seautops, thine own self, first found in John 17:5, epheneroson, showed himself, first found in John 21:1, ses uste, made whole, first found in Acts 4:9, latrususi, serve, first found in Acts 7:7, proskalesasto, let them pray, first found in James 5:14, Exodus 8:5 is verse 1716, and God as a noun and verb spake unto Moses, say unto Aaron, stretch forth thine hand with thy rod over the streams, over the rivers, and over the ponds, and cause frogs to come up upon the land of Egypt. Now, there are two things you could say that sort of thing indicates. Is that we operate the spiritual power, or we respond to it as we're, indicated to respond. It's not just, okay, send this upon me, and, but Ancient Aliens, of course I had to include that one. How could I not include Ancient Aliens among my list if that showed up? Magic, Egg Seed Kingdom. Okay. Rose, I accept. Alpha Zero, I am the reward for Satanists. Got to include the good and the bad, or whatever. And What does that even mean, though? Very high. The eternal soul of reality. Gandalf the Wizard? Don't know what that's from. Construction of harmony. Relevant to reality. You are the Son of God. Well, if you look at the Bible, one of the things that we're going to find is it tells you sort of how to be that Son of God, they're called. Or you could be a son of Satan by the same principle, just turn the other way. It's, driven completely insane of God. That sounds like one of those AL or YH ending names, right? Apocalypse Angel. Contracts with Satan. And honestly, your spiritual contracts, if you change your beliefs or practices, you're not per se trapped by them as like people think. Theory of numbers, super soldiers, and the coming chaos. There's a rising number of satanic groups that are employing the soldier mentality in a way, and enjoy the little things. He committed the unforgivable sin. Well, some stuff, if you die with it, perhaps. Extraterrestrial. Mental. Big bang inside your mind. So, yeah. Now there's stuff that shows up when you look up the symbolism of stuff, and it doesn't mean you have to do stuff. It doesn't mean that stuff has to happen or something like that. You're just responsible for how you find your beliefs amongst it and take things out of it and what you otherwise do with it.